What if the Jedi Order went into hiding right before Order 66? That's our story for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. And by the way, we're going to be doing a lightsaber giveaway at 50,000 subscribers and a Lego set giveaway, so just subscribe and go to the pinned comment down below to see how to enter. Also, hit the like button if you want to see this video on the screen on Saturday. What if Palpatine cared about Vader? Hit the like button if you want to see it, and let's get into today's video. Our story begins inside of the Jedi Temple hangar as Anakin Skywalker is informing Windu of the revelation he just discovered. Chancellor Palpatine, the man Anakin trusted above all, the man that commanded the Jedi and the Republic through the war, is the Dark Lord Darth Sidious that the Jedi have spent every day looking for. He was right under their nose the entire time, and as Windu hears this revelation, he knows it was time to enact a plan that he put into place months ago. At one point during the war, Anakin and Obi-Wan discovered that it was actually the Sith that created the clone army. This had greatly troubled Windu for weeks. He could barely sleep as he was sensing a plot to destroy the Jedi. So not long after, Windu took it upon himself to prepare 3 huge transports to be built on the planet Harun Kal, a planet that he had connections with, and a planet that had allies to the Jedi and to the Republic. And so for months, these transports were built for this very day. As Windu prepared to take off to the Chancellor's office, he looked to Anakin Skywalker with great seriousness. Windu told Anakin that he needs to be able to trust him, and Anakin said that he could. And so Windu began briefing on his plans to evacuate the Jedi, saying that Syndrellic and Shaak Ti will be able to help him. Anakin was given instructions on how to call for these Jedi transports, along with how to tell the rest of the Jedi around the galaxy to evacuate their battles discreetly. Anakin was conflicted, as he might need Palpatine to save Padme, but Mace looked him in the eyes and said that if he can evacuate the Jedi, then he will surely be a Jedi Master. This made Anakin want to prove himself to the Jedi, and so he got to work as Windu took off for Palpatine's office. Neither of them knew what Order 66 was, but Windu believed that in order for Palpatine to reveal his identity, he must have some grand plan. Anakin ran through the temple, alerting other masters to prepare for evacuation. He used Windu's instructions to call for the transports, then ran down to the communications center. Part of Anakin wondered if this was very overblown. He wondered why they would all need to evacuate. Could Palpatine truly have something to take out the entire Jedi Temple? Either way, Anakin got to a Jedi beacon, and he sent out a message to any Jedi who have a communications device. He instructed each and every Jedi to stay away from the temple, and instead go to the given coordinates, as the Sith has revealed himself. After sending out the message, Anakin got to the main hall, and he found all of the Jedi being ushered out of the temple's back entrance. There were around 4,000 of the 9,000 remaining Jedi still in the temple, and a huge majority of the temple Jedi were younglings, priests, elders, instructors, basically Jedi that cannot fight at all. And now they waited for the transports as the Jedi engaged Darth Sidious in his office. Sidious discarded of Kolar and Tin by catching them off guard, but Windu and Fisto were battling him quite well. Sidious took both of them into the other room and finally got an opportunity to cut down Fisto, leaving just him and Windu now. And Sidious felt into the Force, feeling for Anakin, but he could not feel his presence approaching. This was not good. Sidious could always feel what Anakin was doing, and Windu had shown Anakin just enough trust to keep him away. So Sidious backflipped behind the desk, flipped an emergency security switch, trying to draw in reinforcements to help him. And now as Windu once more locked sabers with Sidious, 5 royal guards ran in, and they circled Windu as 10 Coruscant Guard clone troopers followed as well. Sidious shot lightning at Windu, distracting him, allowing the guards and the clones to approach and begin firing. Windu had no choice now, except to evacuate, so he dove out of the window, floating down to the ground, catching a speeder flying near the building, and turning back to the temple. He'd failed. Windu was eventually able to reach the temple, and he talked to Anakin. Anakin informed him that he sent out the message, and all of the Jedi will be heading to Otoo to meet them. Windu now wondered if maybe he should go back for Palpatine. He was so close. He could kill him. If he brought Anakin with him this time, maybe he could end it. But he wouldn't have a chance. Palpatine executed Order 66, and across the galaxy, clone troopers suddenly turned on their Jedi commanders. There were around 6,000 Jedi spread throughout the galaxy at this moment. Jedi away from the temple, either in battle or on some sort of mission or retreat, and as Order 66 went off, around half of them would be killed immediately. But 3,000 of them received the message from the temple and were able to evacuate in time. Among those that failed to retreat were Ki-Adi-Mundi, Aayla Secura, and Jaro Tapal. But among those that did retreat or making it to Otoo were Plo Koon, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Depa Billaba, and Ahsoka Tano. And on Coruscant, as Mace Windu was getting into the transport, the three transports took off from the Jedi Temple, heading to the atmosphere. The Republic blockade in the sky turned towards them, and Skywalker ordered the Jedi pilots to take evasive action while he fires ion blasts at the blockade. They got closer and closer, but unfortunately, one of the transports took a direct hit, completely exploding, killing around 1,000 Jedi, as each transport had around that many of them inside. It was the transport led by Syndrellic, but Anakin didn't have time to mourn the loss. He and the other transport were able to escape the blockade, punching in the coordinates for Otoo. Around 24 hours later, the galaxy was completely shifting. Emperor Palpatine has convinced the Senate that the Jedi are evil, that they have turned against the Republic, trying to take it for themselves. The Senate believes him overall, and he has the Separatist Council killed on Mustafar by the 501st Legion. And as the galaxy is covered in the dark shadow of the Empire, a light in the galaxy remains on Otoo. Roughly 5,000 Jedi survived Order 66, and among Council members, only Anakin, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Windu, Plo Koon, Depa Billaba, and Shaak Ti survived. The others did not make it, with 3 of them dying in Sidious's office. There is very little happy conversation going on Otoo, aside from Jedi just relieved to see each other alive. Ahsoka would soon arrive and tell the surviving council what she knew from Captain Rex. The clones had inhibitor chips activated that made them unable to resist killing the Jedi. This was all Palpatine's plan. And upon removing Rex's chip, he went back to normal, so Ahsoka said that Rex was already moving to get more clones back to normal, knowing that the Jedi Order survived for the most part. Perhaps, in time, the two groups could once again work together. The Council thanked Ahsoka, and soon separated the 5,000 Jedi to 2 different islands. Those that were capable of fighting stayed on the main island to continue training in order to soon save the galaxy from this new empire, while those who could not fight, the younglings, elders, priests, etc., were brought to a smaller island nearby, a more spiritual one, where they could just continue to meditate and grow as Jedi. And as this was being organized, Anakin Skywalker stood at the top of the island, meditating on a rock, trying to find any semblance of hope. He had to leave Padme on Coruscant, and he knew that if he communicated with her, he would be exposing the lives of thousands of Jedi. This was his greatest test. He knew now, after seeing the violence of Order 66, seeing the clones basically turned into droids, that Palpatine could not truly care for Padme. He was pure evil. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka would soon come find Anakin here, and they could feel something was truly bothering him. Both of them knew it was Padme, so they assured Anakin that she was strong, and if anyone can handle everything going on, it's her. Soon enough, the Jedi Council as a group, along with a few new honorary members to replace those that fell, including Ahsoka Tano and Kelleran Beck, would travel to the smaller island to speak to the young Jedi and try to calm them down. There was great fear among these younglings, and it was the Council's job to try and help them adjust. And as the Council, along with a few other strong Jedi, traveled across the water, one Jedi Temple guard snuck off to a cave to contact his true master. This Temple guard was promised a place in the new Empire as Grand Inquisitor, and what better way to serve his new role than leading the Empire right to the hiding place of the Jedi. The Jedi were not at all suspecting that someone within their own ranks would be their downfall, and so the future Grand Inquisitor contacted Palpatine, sending him these coordinates, saying that all of the Jedi are on this main island. Luckily, he was far too distracted with serving the Emperor that he failed to realize that the Jedi were separated into 2 groups, and on this secondary island, the Jedi Council was going around to the younglings. There were around 2,000 Jedi on this island, with the other 3,000 remaining on the main island. The Council members, everyone from Yoda to Plo Koon to Anakin, were trying to calm the younglings, help the elders adjust to this new home. Everyone was starting to calm down, but as things looked like they could be alright here, all of the Council members and the rest of the Jedi turned to the sky. Above the main island, 10 Venator-class Star Destroyers just emerged, and the Jedi could feel the presence of the Dark Lord of the Sith. This was impossible. How did the Empire find them so quickly? Panic began to ensue on the smaller island, but Windu ordered everyone to get to the lower part of the island and try to hide. Anakin ran to the front, yelling that they have to go help the Jedi. But Yoda said it is too late, and within seconds, the 10 Star Destroyers rained firepower down on the main island. For at least 10 minutes, it was non-stop firing on this island, blowing it up completely, obliterating the 3,000 Jedi that were there before they could even consider evacuation. The Council could only watch as the setting sun mirrored the fall of these Jedi, explosion after explosion, drowning out any screams, until the only thing remaining as the smoke dispersed was the outline of where this island used to be. It was gone, into the water, and then the Empire just jumped back into hyperspace like it was nothing, thinking the entire Jedi Order was now completely wiped out. The Council was lucky that they were hidden away on this second island with the younglings, but just like that, 3,000 at least capable fighting Jedi were dead for no reason. And in hyperspace, Palpatine smiled to himself on the bridge of one of the Star Destroyers. The Jedi were defeated, the clones were under his command, the galaxy was his to rule. No one would be stopping him. And on the smaller island of Otoo, the remaining Jedi had very few options. They could jump back into the galaxy, try to take down the Emperor, but it would be extremely risky, and even if they could do it, would the galaxy side with them? Most likely not. So instead, after days of discussion, the Jedi decided to take the path of patience. They would remain here, and in time, perhaps they could find senators to aid their cause, along with Rex's clones. So for around a year, the Jedi would practice this patience. To the galaxy, to the Emperor, they were gone. They had the advantage of surprise for when they choose to emerge someday, take the galaxy back from the Sith. And in this hiding, over this year, Yoda, Windu, Kenobi, Ahsoka, all of them would help Anakin with the seeming loss of Padme. She was hopefully not dead, but in communications with Bail Organa, Mon Mothma, Chuchi, and other senators sympathetic to their cause, the Jedi learned that Padme and the children were missing. She'd given birth, and she lived through it, but afterward she just disappeared. Anakin could only assume it was Sidious's doing, and he knew now he made the right choice. He wanted to go back, but again he'd be risking everything, everyone, and he knew Padme would not want that, so he had to stay, at least for now. And Bail Organa and the Jedi would soon get into contact with Rex and learn of his clone underground operations on Teth. So finally, after a year, the Jedi would decide it is time to re-enter into the galaxy and travel to Teth. Rex's base wasn't exactly ready to harbor 2,000 Jedi, but there were abandoned cities all around, so the Jedi were able to survive here very well. The Council, along with Rex's clone movement, would work together for months, running small missions, getting more senators on their side, as Palpatine was targeting any senator that had any Jedi connections, trying to rid the galaxy of any feeling of the Jedi. An underground system out of Teth became the home of so many exiled senators, clones, and of course the Jedi. The Emperor would soon begin to fear this uprising that he was only hearing whispers about, and so he dispersed brainwashed clone hunters throughout the galaxy, trying desperately to find where this uprising was taking place. The Jedi and the clones began to refer to these clones, these hunters, as shadows, and one of these shadow clone hunters would find and track the Marauder, the ship belonging to Clone Force 99, to the planet Teth. This hunter would soon land and try to send the coordinates to Palpatine. Luckily, Clone Force 99 member Hunter sent someone following them through the Teth forest, and Crosshair was able to snipe this clone hunter in the shoulder. He was knocked unconscious and soon taken inside of the base. Upon entering, Crosshair informed the Jedi and clone movement that this clone could lead them back to Tantiss, the important Imperial base, but he has a tracker deep inside of him. Obi-Wan Kenobi would take this clone and use the Force to find where this tracker was. It was stabbed deep inside of his forearm, and so they had a surgery droid remove the tracker and disable it. Once this was done, Obi-Wan looked to the clone and slowly removed his helmet. And as he did this, Obi-Wan stumbled backwards as he realized who this was. Sure, all clones shared basically the same face, but Obi-Wan would recognize Cody anywhere. This was him, and Cody soon began to wake up. He was furious, cursing at the Jedi and the clones, telling them that the Empire would be coming to kill them all. This broke Obi-Wan's heart. Cody was not only a great soldier, but a great man, and seeing him broken and brainwashed like this, to be like a droid, was terrible. After some discussion, Kenobi, Windu, Plo, Yoda, and Anakin would all go to the now unconscious Cody, and they would use the Force to get into his mind, probing it, finding his old memories, pushing away the brainwashed Imperial influence. It was difficult, and Cody would wake up screaming in mental pain, but the Jedi would eventually do it. Cody was freed, and he thanked the Jedi many times. Rex would enter and give Cody a hug, saying it was great to have him back. From here, Cody would agree to be a spy for the Jedi clone movement, as he would be allowed back on Tantiss. The Jedi and Clone Council would gather to discuss this idea, and the Jedi, consisting of Yoda, Mace, Plo, Shakti, Depa Billaba, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka, would agree that this could be great, and the Clone Council of Rex, Gregor, Hauser, Samson, the Bad Batch, and a few others, they agreed that this was their best opportunity to bring down the Empire. So Cody would be sent back to Tantiss with methods of communicating with this Jedi clone movement, and for months, he would relay information to them, trying to help in any way that he could, until one day, Cody finally had the information that could change everything. The Emperor himself was coming to Tantiss. Cody couldn't necessarily confirm this to be true, but there was much more security on the base. Hemlock was stressed beyond belief, and his Coruscant guard troopers were spotted nearby. And the Jedi clone movement finally had their opportunity. Thanks to Cody, they would be able to infiltrate Tantiss, and with any luck, they would be able to blow it up from the inside. And so they would board a stolen Imperial transport with 15 Jedi and around 100 clones, taking off to the coordinates for Tantiss, given to them by Cody. Now there were still around 2,000 surviving Jedi, but only these 15 could truly be trusted in battle. And inside the base on Tantiss, Palpatine was inspecting the newest updates on the cloning experiments. He was in a top-secret vault that had extreme protection from stormtroopers and his own Red Guards, and looking upon the cloning body that Hemlock was calling Snoke. And as Palpatine was spending time looking at these potential clone bodies, the Jedi clone transport infiltrated the atmosphere, flying down to the mountain, hovering just inside the tree line to stay hidden. From here, 3 smaller speeders were launched, and they took off for the mountain. On one speeder, Yoda, Plo, Windu, Shakti, and Depa Billaba traveled together with Gregor and a squad of clones. On another, Keller and Beck and a group of 4 other Jedi Knights and another squad of clones led by the Bad Batch took off. And on the lead speeder, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka, they led the way with Rex and his squad of clones, ready to fight for their brothers. Upon reaching the mountain, Anakin and Rex separated from everyone, getting inside a secret entrance shown to them by Omega. It was an entrance for Lucra hounds, and the two of them soon infiltrated the base. They discreetly ran through, taking out any stormtroopers in their path, until they reached the communications room, taking out anyone in here as well. They were a very strong duo. Anakin would now guard the door, while Rex took the microphone and began to broadcast a message to everyone inside of this base. Rex turned on the comms, and he made himself be heard. He called to all of the clones inside the base, whether they were here as captives or guards. He called to his brothers, and Rex spoke with strength, telling his brothers that they must think about what they are doing. The Republic they swore to protect, the Republic they gave their lives for, has become something new, something evil, and the clones are paying for it. Rex begged these clones in here to pay attention to what is going on. The Empire is experimenting on their brothers, trying to use them for some radical experiments, and it is time for them to rise up, show the Empire that the clones are not simply expendable beings for this Emperor. As this was going on, Palpatine sent his royal guards to the communications room, but they were met by the lightsaber of Anakin Skywalker. The sound of a lightsaber could be heard over the comms, and it gave Palpatine a bit of fear. The Jedi were here. Rex continued now, asking all of the clones in here to do what is right, not what they have been ordered to do. He said they are not droids. Now is the time to rise up. And inside of the base, clones heard Rex. They were hesitant to follow. Someone had to make the first move. Luckily, Wolf was here, and he turned to a group of stormtroopers, not clones, and began firing at them. Commando clones followed suit, joining Wolf, and as Rex heard this commotion, this uprising taking place, he gave the all-clear signal to the clones and Jedi waiting outside of the base. It was time to take down the Empire. As they breached the outer defenses, the group would split into smaller teams, each tasked with disabling vital systems, clearing the way for the main assault force, eventually being able to blow this base from the inside. Anakin and Ahsoka darted through corridors, their lightsabers humming to life as they swiftly dispatched troopers that crossed their path. Obi-Wan and Yoda moved with grace, their mastery of the Force aiding them as they took down the base, destroyed anything they could that was in their path. Windu's presence was like a storm unleashed, his own saber carving a path through enemy ranks with ferocity. Shakti and Depa Billaba worked in tandem, their elegant combat styles complementing each other as they fought side by side. Meanwhile, the clones led by Captain Rex demonstrated their strong loyalty to their brothers, covering each other's backs as they engaged recruited Imperial troops in firefights. They were trying to free their brothers and get more fighters on their side. Hauser and Cody were able to work together, freeing some clones, while Gregor used his insane tactics to shine through, braving enemy fire with determination. The Bad Batch brought their unique skills to the battle, fighting through the base, and everything looked to be going well. As the fighting raged on, the Jedi and their clone allies fought their way deeper into the heart of the base, facing increasingly fierce resistance from Imperial forces. And in the heart of the base, Sidious was waiting. The Jedi survived. The clones were here to get their revenge, but he was ready. And soon enough, a group emerged into the main area, consisting of Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Rex, and Cody. This group was lethal in the Clone War, and now they were here to bring an end to their true enemy. Sidious ignited his lightsaber, saying he will kill these Jedi and his empire will become immortal. Sidious, of course, did not know that these were not the only surviving Jedi. The others were deep into the base now, destroying the vital systems that kept this base running. And as Sidious got ready for a fight, a group of 5 Death Troopers emerged, giving Rex and Cody their own enemies while the Jedi took on the Sith. And so with the flash of his red blade, Sidious launched himself at the trio. His attacks were swift and relentless. Anakin would meet each blow with a flurry of strikes, his blue lightsaber a blur of motion, as he sought to pierce the Sith Lord's defenses. Obi-Wan moved with the grace of a master duelist, focusing in on his defensive form, and Ahsoka, her new twin lightsabers moving to keep her alive, fought with the strength born from Anakin's teachings. Meanwhile, Commander Cody and Captain Rex would find themselves facing the Death Troopers, advancing with deadly purpose. The sounds in the air blended with sabers clashing, blasters firing, as the clones engaged their adversaries. Cody's mind raced as he sought to outmaneuver these elite Imperial soldiers, his blaster shots finding their mark with great accuracy. And beside him, Rex fought with the skill and determination of a truly seasoned fighter, his years of experience proving invaluable, as he sought to hold the line against these Death Troopers. The clash of sabers, the blaster fire echoed throughout the halls of Tantiss. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka fought with all the strength and skill they possessed, but it may not be enough. Sidious blasted Anakin with lightning, then spun at an opening to kill Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. But as he moved in for the kills, a giant explosion suddenly shook the base, and Sidious slammed into the wall. The explosion soon filled the cloning room behind them, thanks to the Jedi and clones destroying the base from the inside. Sidious looked on, screaming, "My clones!" And as he was getting up, Anakin force-pushed him deep into the explosion, and he was swallowed up. There was no time to celebrate, as the explosion was now coming towards them, so the 3 Jedi and 2 clones began sprinting to the base entrance. As they ran through the base, they met up with the rest of the surviving clones and Jedi, including Plo Koon and Wolf, reunited. All of them were going as fast as they could. The explosion was right behind them, and after running for so long, they reached the entrance, diving into the transport waiting for them. Anakin took the controls, and he flew away as the base erupted from the inside out. They did it. The Emperor was dead. From here, the Jedi, clones, and senators on their side would unite on Coruscant and begin explaining to the people everything that went wrong. The Senate was hesitant to see it, but the group brought evidence of what he was working on Tantiss with, how he controlled the clones to kill the Jedi, and how he was working with Dooku during the Clone War. These discussions would lead to Mon Mothma being made Chancellor, and the surviving Jedi Order of 2000 would return to the Coruscant Temple instead of hiding away on Teth. And after extensive searches deep in the temple, Padme, Luke, and Leia were found imprisoned deep inside as droids were keeping them alive. After so much patience and pain, Anakin was reunited with his family, and he was never happier. For decades, the Jedi Order would rebuild after seeing their mistakes, and the eventual Grand Master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, would lead the Jedi into a new, great age of peace, as the clones had their advanced aging slowed down, so they too could live out their lives, helping keep this peace, choosing new lives. Everyone was happy about it. And folks, that is our wholesome story for the day. I know, I killed off about, 9,000 to 7,000 Jedi? But besides that, everyone comes out of this winning, besides those. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. As I've said the last few videos, at 50k subs, we're going to be doing 2 giveaways, lightsaber and Lego set. Pinned comment down below to enter. Anyways, let's talk about today's story for a bit. So, the Bad Batch newest episodes really inspired me to do this. I keep thinking, what if this clone rebellion succeeds that Rex is building? but then I remember that we have the entire original trilogy, so we know that's not going to happen, which is very, very unfortunate. So what I'm thinking, I mean, there's probably going to be a few videos like this where clone rebellions do sort of work, and I wanted to integrate the base that we saw on Teth in the most recent episode as well. So let me know what you guys thought. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know, I blew up an entire island of Jedi. It was a pretty big massacre. I know Penty Patrol in one of his most recent videos bombed the Jedi Temple like 10 times, so I'm just trying to, meet his violence hand for hand. So appreciate you guys. I actually did a live stream with Penty the other day on the members only side of this. Shout out to the newest members, Rob M. Klein, Sean Smith, and Abe Kadi. If you want to shout out for becoming a member, join button, and you get exclusive content. Anyways, appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.